met a guy that was from Texas. We formed a company and we immediately went after high net worth individuals that were traveling from other countries to Panama to buy real estate. And that just took off. And I spent 11 years in Panama. I owned a real estate brokerage. We had 23 agents and supporting staff. And then my now wife and I decided that we wanted to make a move back to the United States because that market had kind of started to tank after a couple of government administrations. So I came back to the United States. And like Brian, I did not want to, as a new agent, I didn't want to start off selling, you know, let's call it, even at this point, $1 million homes or $2 million homes. I really wanted to start off doing something bigger than that because of what I had come from. So I went to work for the Sally Forster Jones Group, at that time, John Arrow, which then became Pacific Union and then ultimately was Compass. And that was where I started my Los Angeles real estate career. And Brian and I had been talking, and I was always able to look at him from afar, being out of the country and then just being here, being on the West Side and watching what he was doing. And throughout this whole COVID, the time just seemed right. The two of us started talking and how we could collaborate and things that we could do. And I think really we started to see the value in one another, not as brothers, as we always did, but really like, hey, we could really do something cool together. And 1 + 1 could be 4. Let's see how we can make that happen. And that was where the birth of Pane Real Estate Group over at Wish Sotheby's started.
Fantastic. I actually, I see you. I mean, I've known you guys for a long time, and I've seen you guys both in your journeys. And this is just like something that was almost inevitable, you know, for you guys to join forces. And you guys
it seems everybody knew that, but us.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I think everybody knew that, but us. Yeah, Brian?
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely, you know, we definitely didn't think that we were going to join forces, but I think that, you know, through him being at a different real estate company and seeing the opportunities, and he was growing as a realtor, and really, I mean, Kevin's always been an amazing businessman. I mean, his business acumen is top notch. I mean, he's on a completely other level when it comes to, you know, to business transactions. And I'm just glad we forged, and it's been amazing so far. We've already done a lot, and it's only been literally like a month and a half. And so we're really, really excited actually to work together.
Yeah, definitely happy to see you guys together. And then I want to talk about a little bit about what you guys are doing, differently. I know we were talking about technology for Brian way back when we did the panel, when you were trying to kind of level up on your own. What are you guys doing different? Are you guys utilizing anything from Sotheby's that you're able to implement to your business? I know, like Brian, you dominated, like, you know, Encino South. Every house in the 5 million and up was like your listing. Celebrities, like, you were doing amazing things there. So how are you guys like going to maintain that, and now together, like, to, you know, keep that going?
Kevin, why don't you start this?
Sure. So from a marketing perspective, first and foremost, it was actually nice to step into a situation that had such an amazing presence and a name recognition and all the things that Brian had built over the last 20 years. It was a blessing. And so to step into that and then be able to build off of it, we are looking at all types of different internet marketing now. Brian has been really big and dominated, as you said, in this market and with print and having his name and everything everywhere. And we're now starting to look and pay a lot more attention to the digital side of things. And so targeting specific areas, clients by certain types of data points and information, as well as some of the traditional, you know, print, flyers. You know, right now it's so different because of where we are today. You know, Brian and I, like he said, we started a month and a half ago, right in the middle of this COVID. So like, there's no open houses, there's no door knocking, there's no, you can't even hand someone a listing sheet at a showing. So it's kind of understanding and moving forward in this new environment for everybody. And I think the way that we both see it is that digital is going to digital is the massive part of where we are going to be putting our focus and where we are putting our focus right now.
So let me dive in a little bit on that and see if we can get a little deeper for some of the agents that are watching that are trying to get their name out there. You know, at this point, you guys are established. Everybody knows your name within our local community. But if you were to start today as a brand new realtor, knowing everything that you already know about the business, but nobody knows your name, how would you go out there and market yourself? How would you grow your business to become a top producer?
In the COVID environment where we stand today?
Yep, today. However, you know.
I think first and foremost, anyone getting into the business needs to understand that the biggest investment they can make is into themselves. You know, I think a lot of people, we all get into real estate thinking that we're going to get into real estate because we get to have time. And the reality is, if you have time in real estate, you're probably not making any money. You know, as we all know, it takes time, it takes effort, and it also takes money to market. And so in this market, I think because we can't focus on the door knocking and the mailers and the things the way that we used to, it would be, from my perspective, the majority would be digital. Facebook, Instagram, and those platforms. Bri, you have something, I mean, you know.
I mean, I'll just build off of what Kevin says, but you know, Sotheby's also has some exclusives with some different companies where we can target local areas and literally get their information. We can draw a map around any location we want, get emails, telephone numbers. I think there's just so many things to do, but it's definitely digitally, because you're getting more people at the end of the day for less money. Print is extremely expensive, and its reach is not as large. You can't grasp as much as you can digitally. So I would say you want to get somebody on your team if you're starting out, or partner with somebody that has some digital experience, or take a class, because really that's how you're going to make your money. And if you find areas, I mean, if I were starting out right now, I would find an area that I wouldn't try to go all over. It's too much for somebody starting out. I think that you want to find an area, target it, and continually hit it, and little by little still implement some of the old school with the new school. What I did growing my business is I targeted an area and I would hit it with postcards every 2 weeks. I would have open house signs scattered throughout the whole entire city. I purposely I'd have multiple open houses. I'd meet all the neighbors that would come in. It's just, I mean, anywhere you can hit them. I like, what's very important to me is participating in my clients' charities. I don't do it for business. I got to be honest with you. I do it because I like doing it, because I've had so many people throughout my career support me that I really enjoy supporting my clients, and even stuff that I personally am passionate about. And I don't know, I think that all of these things, you're meeting great people throughout this process of life. You're running into people, you're going to meet people at charity events that have similar interests. It's just do a little bit of everything. And if you're doing a little bit of everything, you're going to gain a market. And as you gain that market, then you can expand on that market. You can reach out once you get that platform in, that foundation in an area. That's my opinion. That's what I would do with the knowledge I have today if I was getting into the market today.
And what's a realistic?
Let me add one more thing, Lior. I'm sorry. Let me add just one more thing to that,
please.
because I really left out one of the most basic, and it's one that I see Brian focused on every day, and it's one that I focus on, is picking this up, making phone calls. You know, so many people have lost touch, but like Brian will go into his office and I'll hear him calling. It could be a friend from high school. It could be somebody he met last week. It could be someone he had coffee with. And I do the same thing, maintaining a database and talking to people. You cannot do deals without talking to people, period. Doesn't exist.
Very well put.
I think that's, you know, one of the most common things that we hear and we see, and Chuck and I talk to a lot of different successful people and in all industries. but the one common thing is what you just said right now. The ones that are successful have the discipline of constantly making those calls. So I'm glad you touched on that. So I wanted to ask in terms of market, right? You're dealing with a lot of high-end people. Considering everything that's going on now with COVID and factoring in the fact that rates are very low, that's kind of throwing off what is happening in terms of purchases, where everybody thought it was going to go one way, but it's in fact growing now. Where do you see the market in 9 months and 12 months from now, factoring all those different things?
B, would you like
Kevin, I'll let
to?
you start off on that one.
Okay. So I'm very data driven. When Brian and I sit down for a meeting, I'm very data driven. I like for when we look at things and we analyze things together, we really try to look at things unemotionally and what the actual data says. And so the reality is right now, from when we went into our first lockdown to where we are today, market volume is down about 50% transactionally. And it's probably up a little bit more right now as we speak, but for the most part, it was down about 50%. However, listing price to selling price was not really off more than 6%. And we have won several multiples and lost several multiples recently. And so buyers are out there, there's business being done. I almost feel bad saying it sometimes, but like there's a lot of business being transacted right now. And the people that are out there thinking that it's not happening, unfortunately, are just not doing it. They're not the ones with the discipline through the tough time. Speaking to where the market is going to go, listen, if I had a crystal ball, we'd be having this conversation while I was on my yacht in the Mediterranean. But I think the reality is that the market is going to remain good, in my opinion, as long as rates remain low. And for the people that we are dealing with, because we're dealing with a lot of the higher end stuff, those clients are in better positions than maybe some of the people that are dealing with some of the lower priced product. And I think it's a concern in all areas. I think it's something to pay attention to constantly in all areas.
Ryan, you have anything to add?
Listen, I mean, I would agree with Kevin. I mean, at the end of the day, what I can say is the market right now in this moment is fantastic. And if you're out there working, there's a lot of money to make. And what I would recommend is, make as much as you can and make sure you save it, because we really don't know where this market's going to go. There's a lot of unknowns. I don't like to speak on what I believe or where it's going to go. Today, right now, the fact is the market is moving. And if the market happened to change or dip or whatever, we'll be prepared for that as well. But, at the end of the day, it is moving. There's people buying. And I think that it's one of the most important things to do is just work on getting the right price in this market, because, people will buy it. And I don't think I want to be on the market with properties 8 months down the line.
Right.
We don't know.
I've got a question, okay?
That's when we're coming to, that's when we're coming to Chuck.
So this is question with a follow-up question. The question is, are you, and there's a yes or no question, are you able to talk about this election year without getting political? Are you able to do that?
For me, it's easy because I never talk about politics. And the truth is that I don't really follow what's going on, because it doesn't affect what I'm going to put in my pocket, in my opinion.
Okay, so with that,
My answer would be yes.
okay,
Sure.
let's talk about it. I'm really trying not to get political on this stuff, but let's talk about it being a election year, rates, what things are doing, what things are, how things are happening and how it's going to affect the market. Do you think
Kevin.
you think rates can go any lower? Do you think there could be, fear? I mean, any more fear that's, you know what I mean?
Listen, I think that there's always going to be uncertain times, right? Period. Political, election year, not election year. There's a lot going on in the world right now. And without being political, because I think like Brian, I I'm just, my politics are completely irrelevant to what goes in my pocket, right? What I believe has nothing to do with how much money I'm going to make.
Mhm.
And so I think that people can use this as an excuse to buy, or an excuse to sell, or an excuse to hold, or an excuse to think the world's coming to an end. The reality is that we have elections every 4 years, and someone's going to win and someone's going to lose. And that's just the way our system has worked forever. I think rates, I don't see rates going much lower, but the reality is they could always go to zero, I guess. But I think as long as the rates stay lower, prices are going to continue to hold, and we're going to have people that want to buy and people that want to sell. You know?
Okay. I've got another question. This is something that's been kind of in my mind that I don't have an answer to. And we never really brought this up. So here goes. Evictions and things like that are completely off the table now, right? So you've got a lot of landlords out there that are either not getting paid and can't file eviction,
Correct.
or they're getting paid and they can't raise their rent. They're kind of limited on what they can do, right? Then you've got all these people that have been cooped up in their homes for so long that now they're like, you know what, screw it. I want to upgrade. I want to have a larger yard. I want to have that pool. I don't mind paying a little bit more in rent, because now my commute to my work, they're able to justify and offset in their mind what that expense is. How do we, kind of figure out the rental market, all these different people that want to upgrade, and they can't necessarily, they might not qualify to purchase, or maybe they can now, but so we've got this market of, with demand, and we've got, all these, tenants and landlord situations. Where is that putting all the different people that are getting into the multifamily, purchasing multifamily zoned lots, RD 1.5, R3, R4, C2, C4 to build units? What are your thoughts on where the units are going with this information that I just pointed out?
I think what's happening here, I mean, it's a very risky market, multi-residential right now. And so I think, therefore, it poses a good opportunity for any kind of developer who's in the market, because for somebody to want to take these on, there is a lot of unknowns. The values are iffy. It could be worth this, but this tenant could walk away. So I think it presents an opportunity for an investor to get, I think, a good opportunity. And I think that they calculate the risks before they actually get into these deals. With the possibility that, hey, listen, I'm building an 8-plex, maybe 6 will rent, whatever it is. We might have 2 people that don't. So I think that, they take that into consideration. Everybody says the money's made on the buy. So if you buy it right, then you can calculate into that equation the risk of the possibility that it won't flow the way it's supposed to flow while this is happening.
Okay.
So, Brian, Kevin, let me ask you guys, if I was a customer that is looking to sell my, in your scale, I guess it's probably a $10 million home, and I come to you, and, obviously in your immediate market, there's quite a bit of competition, and probably some good competition that you're dealing with in that kind of caliber. What do you tell a customer that is going to help them go with you? What is your value propositions, and why should I use the Pane Group as opposed to, one of the other competitors out there?
I'll start, B, and then you can jump in if you'd like. First and foremost is that when you work with the two of us, you get the two of us. I think it's very important for sellers to understand what they can expect from the people that they're working with. And so I come from a larger team background. Brian has come from an individual background with a couple assistants. I think what a lot of people want to know is they want to know what they get. And so they get Brian and I. You get 2 people that are extremely professional, that have done a tremendous amount of volume through all different markets, through all different times. You get integrity, you get the truth. Look, Brian and I, it's funny, we went on 3 listing appointments recently. And it wasn't about the client not wanting to work with us. It was about the fact that I'm sorry, I have something, can you still hear me okay?
Yeah.
The fact of the matter was that we didn't feel they were the right fit. It's all about being able to work together, right? When you get into a listing with someone, you get into a relationship. And so my big thing is, when I call, you're going to want to pick up that call. You're going to want to hear what I have to say. You're going to want to talk to us. And so integrity, honesty, being forthright with the information, talking about the tough topics up front, price, commission, whatever it needs to be, so that everybody gets into a transaction with transparency. Those would be, some of the important things that I point on.
Restructure the question again. I'm sorry.
So, I mean, what's your pitch to a potential seller that wants to sell a $10 million home on why they should use you and not one of the other guys?
I mean, in that respect, I would agree a lot with Kevin, but I think it just comes down to us. You're hiring us, and listen, and we work for a great company, Sotheby's Realty, which has a lot of great tools. But at the end of the day, I'm not here to, like, we build great relationships with our clients, but the truth is that when they pass the rock to us, they know that we're going to get the job done. We're focused in on we're there to do one thing. It's to sell the house. I think they understand the commitment that we possess, and I have a lot of knowledge in this business. I've been in the business for 22 years. Kevin's background is, it's incredible. I mean, the things that he's done, I think it's just building relationships. The truth is, it's 90% of the people that I work with are people that I've nurtured relationships with. And it's a referral from them. It's somebody in the market that I'm marketing. They're usually calling me over to list the property. And it's usually based off of something that I've done in the past.
Very nice.
And then guys, I'm sorry. And then there's the generic stuff also. I mean, I didn't touch on it because it's the same thing that everyone will, you can come with your listing book and this is my 12-point marketing plan and we're going to have your house here and there. I mean, that's kind of the generic answer to that. I don't want to sidestep it to say that we don't do marketing and all those things, but the reality is that we all have a listing presentation, right? Every agent, whether you're in the business for a week or 100 years, you've got your book and your iPad and your presentation, and you come with your comps, and that's all great. But the reality is, you either your market or you don't.
I'm going to quote one of my friends, Jim Pascucci. This guy told me when I was like 20 years old and in the business. He said, "Brian, listen. When I go on the listing appointment, I take the comps and I throw them across the table and we don't ever discuss them. And that's how I do my comps." It doesn't matter. So, I mean, that's, I think it's just building relationships. People usually have a good idea of what the value is. And if you get stuck on the value conversation, then it's like, it becomes a little bit difficult. Like, you got to overstep that and kind of hold the floor too, but at the same time, interact with with the seller. And anyway.
Okay.
So we're going to open it up very soon to anybody that has questions. So start thinking about your questions. I do want to ask, and I don't know if Chuck has a final question, but I do want to ask, in terms of third-party partnerships, is that something that's important to you guys in your business with lenders, title, escrows, and do you leverage your partners in any way to benefit your business?
Kev, do you want to start off with that?
Sure. Listen, I don't know that I use the word partners or team is what I would like to say, because the people that work with us, we kind of classify everyone as a teammate, right? So when Brian and I come to a project, you get Brian and I, and then you get all of the benefits of the 20 plus, years that come with us. And that is inspectors, if you need them, title, escrow, a handyman, a gardener. I mean, all those things. So the answer is yes, we're very heavily focused on our team, because our team is what helps us get the job done. I mean, I've watched Brian pull up to houses and have 5 landscapers, at a listing, literally like holding court. I mean, he's got people going over here, cutting bushes over there, a painter inside. And having those relationships, I think is huge, because selling a house is a big deal and buying a house is a big deal. And so when you talk to someone in the higher end and you're talking in these numbers, I think that they kind of look to us for those things. So having a team of people that can help get the job done in every area is super important.
And
By the
that's,
way, are you guys in the same office?
yes.
Yes.
Okay.
That's another thing that I like to touch on also, I'm sorry, with the listing and stuff like that is that these are things that we do add, the value that we do add. And I've always tried to get my clients the most money for their property possible. If they have a fixture that we can somehow get it just a little bit above a fixture by doing a couple little things to make them an extra 50 to 100 grand, I'll recommend it. I'll try to help. You know what I mean? So whatever I can do to push the value for them, I never come in and try to like, you know, I usually try to level people up to the next category if it's possible to help them get a little bit more money.
So
That was a part of
with that said, to build on what Leo was asking in regards to third party, what was it, vendors or relationships?
Partners, they call them team
Teammates.
members.
So I'm a firm believer in, you know, having symbiotic relationships and, you know, cultivating those relationships. I do that with, you know, attorneys and, you know, all types of people, right?
Sure.
I always ask our guests, what our viewers, what our people, our network that are, you know, that are part of this, what can they do to align themselves with you, you know? So if it's, you know, if it's somebody who's a new agent, who's able to get a listing and they can, you know, they're talking to a seller who might want a team and they're like, oh, you know, I'm talking with so-and-so who are team. They can say, oh, well, you know, I've got a partnership or an alignment or whatever with, you know, the Pane brothers.
Sure.
My question to you, I'm sure you guys are open to co-listing and things like that with other people being brought onto deals. But my question to you is if you come across, and this is my service, but it's also something that can help you guys. If you guys come across properties that are just, you know, above and beyond, you know, just doing cosmetic, lipstick, you know, TLC, and it just needs to be sold to an investor or cash buyer, I would like to be the first person to be brought in on. That is all we do.
I like that pitch. That was great. That's a great
That
build.
was a good pitch.
Fixers in LA, you know, right there.
I was going to say that must be what LA Fixers is.
It was funny because Lior actually called us earlier before this chat and was asking us the same thing.
Oh,
No, I'm just
for you
kidding.
to bring your fixers to me, that's good. Thank you, Lior.
All right, so let's go ahead and I'll open it up. But if anybody has a question, go ahead, and I'm gonna allow you to unmute yourself here in a second. Just go ahead and unmute yourself and ask away. And then Chuck, if you have anything in the meantime while I do
I
that, go
just
ahead.
have an observation that we have 2 Michelles, 3 Cohens, and 2 title reps.
That is true.
1 Sabrina. And we've got
Very
Shane.
nice.
See that young man over there? He's our drone guy. This is the guy when you need the drone video.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
So any questions from anyone?
I would like to introduce myself. So hi guys, my name is Shane Jacobs. I'm an aerial photographer and videographer for mainly real estate listings, but I also do many other events such as weddings, parties, etc. As for real estate, my main focus is making the seller feel confident in my work. I achieve this by working one-on-one with the seller and going through the shots and angles of the property to make sure they love it. I have seen other aerial photographers and videographers doing their work and seeing their final product, but I feel that they know how to fly. They know how to fly the drone, which is, it's not that hard, but it's the editing and the showmanship that comes into the videos and the pictures that really shows that you know what you're doing. As that goes for color correction and just like the type of music and the type of editing that you use to connect with your people that you're trying to sell the house to.
And he actually
yeah.
does He just did a drone video for one of my listings in Tarzana, 5 acres. He did, I mean, I had a previous drone one and he saw it and he laughed at it and he said he can do better and he did much better. So we're using it.
Awesome.
Shane, definitely put your info in the comments.
Yeah,
on the-
please post it. I'm sure
Okay,
everybody could benefit from that service. Rosaline, I think you just
awesome.
messaged that you have a question. So you're up. Go ahead.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Okay, so my question is, what do you think about the second wave that we're going to have right now? Because I know that the market is very hot. We feel it. Do you see any changing in the market right now that everyone is talking about the second wave? And my second question is, when did you guys started to hire more people to help you as a team or assistant?
It's a great question.
Sure. So we are looking to through this, quote unquote, tough time, which it is. I don't want to discount that. We're actually looking to expand. We are looking to hire a really good assistant. Brian has that's something that he's really tried to focus on, and it's important for us. Listen, second wave, third wave, I don't want to discount that at all. Please understand. I feel, I believe I had COVID at the very beginning of this stuff, and it's terrible. But the reality is that we just have to keep moving forward. Real estate, thankfully, at this moment is not a shutdown business.
No.
And I think a lot of realtors will tell you that they're busier than they've been in a long time.
Yeah.
And we just have to keep moving with that. I don't know what's going to happen with a second wave or a third wave or whatever. I just focus, on what we have in front of us today and tomorrow and how we can do more and be better at it.
And as far for when you guys started to feel, regardless COVID-19 right now, when you guys started to feel that you're busy, when did you decide that this is the right time to start to hire people to help you?
I would actually want to expand on that question. What was your first team hire? What role was that you wanted to bring on board? And then to Rosaline's question, at what point did you feel like, okay, now is the time I absolutely have to bring somebody on?
Exactly the question.
Don't be too honest, Kevin.
No, we're looking for that person right now. I mean, keep in mind, Brian and I have been working together now, literally, I think 5 weeks. And so we've been looking to add our first person immediately. We just haven't, because of the environment, we haven't been able to add that person. Individually, I think that you have to add a person, if you're looking for a kind of a generic answer to that, when the workflow starts to become that which takes you away from money-making activities, when you're doing things that are not making you money and you could be doing something to make you money that you're not doing, that's the time to hire an assistant. When Brian is writing a request for repairs and he could be selling a $5 million home, there's an assistant that needs to be there. Or
that I have covered. For all the documents, I have it covered. I'm talking about someone to help you to take over. You cannot be in all showings. So I'm talking about that because I have help as far for all the docs and submitting offers, requests for repairs, all of that.
So it's like an executive assistant, same thing, or it could be a junior partner. It really it just depends on. I had somebody that worked with me before that was amazing. I don't know if you ever met her, Chuck, but I had the most amazing junior partner, and it really helps. We're looking for somebody who can pretty much do exactly what you're saying. We need somebody to be able to write offers, go review the request for repairs before they send it over to us. Somebody more or less who's going to be able to assist us in every aspect of the business. So we're looking for an executive, and I mean, that's pretty much, it's an executive assistant. It's a junior partner. So.
I want to know how much you're paying.
What?
Michelle wants to know how much you're offering. She was,
It just depends on what she can do.
$500,000 a year. I'll take it.
well, she won't leave for less than.
You're a little expensive. It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's,
but-
that's a few more
Don't worry, we're gonna
shekels
take
than we were
Stacy soon
looking.
enough. No, I'm just kidding.
Listen, she was doing it for
Gonna
Craig
take me.
Strong, Carol Wolf, who else? Alan Taylor, you know,
Those are all great
level
agents.
them up, but I'm not giving her up. Stacy, however,
smart.
wants to know how much you're offering.
We can't pay her enough. I promise you. She makes more money than we could offer.
No, what are you offering? This would be a good, good place to, maybe think about it and we can pass the word around. We're always.
I mean, listen, we're open to what we're going to pay. It just depends on what that person can bring to the table. Ideally, we're looking for somebody who has real estate experience. Obviously, DocuSign is a very big part of real estate these days, uploading listings, just who knows every aspect of real estate. I mean, and Kevin, you can
Yeah,
finish
and
this.
then from that perspective, a person that can grow within, all the businesses that I've been involved in the past, we grow within. Brian and I have talked about that. We want someone that can start with us, that can learn it the right way, that can really become a valuable part of the team and then grow with us. So our first hire might wind up being an assistant and, in 3 years from now or 2 years from now might be the director of operations of a large team. So somebody that's dynamic, somebody that knows what they're doing, knows their way around the contract. It's super important for us. Like I'm dumbfounded by how many agents do not know the real estate contract. I think it's absolutely absurd, but it's just the way it is. So somebody that's really, wants to dive in, roll up the sleeves, make a lot of money, have fun doing it, and grow.
So Kevin's better at putting words together than I am, but more or less, we're saying the same exact thing. I mean, there's definitely a lot of opportunity available, and we're all about that.
Okay. Fantastic. So we'll keep our ears open.
I have a question. What is your guys' opinion about when open houses are gonna come back to reality?
As soon as there's a vaccine.
I hope soon.
Coming tomorrow.
Honestly.
Brian and Kevin, Lior.
Yeah, I hope soon. I really personally, I love open houses. I did a tremendous amount of business from open. If I could sit in open house 5 days a week as a form of prospecting, I would sit open houses.
What,
it.
Kevin, what do you do that makes that successful? Because we get mixed messages on that. We have agents that say it's a waste of time and then they let other people do open houses. And then we have
Sure.
people that just like you are saying that is one of the biggest keys to their success. So what do you do in an open house to benefit from it so much?
First and foremost, I will go out and meet all of the neighbors prior to the open house. I will, in a previous time, either door knock that neighborhood, deliver flyers, introduce myself. An open house is not just an open house, right? It's not just a Sunday or a Saturday from 2 to 5. It's an opportunity. And if you're not looking at it like that as a realtor, you're off base, man. Like you have a listing in a neighborhood, right? Like I'm selling this house. I have an excuse to go talk to every single person in that neighborhood about the person that I'm going to bring to buy this house that's going to be their neighbor. And if you're not capitalizing on that opportunity, you're a fool.
And so when you knock on a door, what do you say?
Hey, I wanted to let you know I just listed, 123 Main Street down the street. I'm having an open house on Sunday. Would love for you to come by. If there's anything that you need or any questions that you have, please let me know. If you haven't seen the house, I think it's a phenomenal opportunity. Maybe you know somebody that wants to move into the neighborhood. Hope to see you.
Boom, easy.
I have
I mean,
I agree with that. I mean, for me, open
during
houses.
the corona, what do you do like with virtual open houses? Do you feel comfortable to knock on their door or to leave flyers?
I mean, right now I'm not knocking on anybody's door. Right now, I don't think people want you knocking on their door right now.
I know.
If that was the question, yeah.
Okay.
So doing a campaign of like free hugs, that's definitely not a good thing.
Not right now, my friend.
Free hugs. Whoever charged for a hug.
E-hugs, e-hugs. It's e-hugs now.
All right, we need to wrap it up soon because I did tell the Payne brothers 30, 45 minutes. You want to explain the win or you want to do the win, Leo, or what do you want?
Yeah, absolutely. It's always good to do a win if people have wins. So we like to always finish the episode with a positive note. And anybody on here now that has a win within the last week, whether it's business or personal, just some piece of good news, please share.
I actually have a little win. I got
You always have a win.
4. You know, it's a way of life. I've got 4 projects that are off market that are all to build units. So I was asking about that earlier because we're focused on that. 2 projects in Lake Balboa to build 6 units and 5 units. Both of them are coming RTI, and 2 projects in Hollywood to build 6 unit and a 12 unit, and prices range from, I don't know, 1.1 to whatever, 2.8. So
Off market.
off market. So if anybody knows of any builders, investors,
Well, there's my opportunity right there. So we'll talk, we'll sell
Yeah.
that. We'll call it a day. That's this
Send them,
week's
send them to
opportunity.
both of us.
Yeah,
Send them to both of us,
see,
please.
my win could be both of your wins.
there you go.
Absolutely.
It's a team effort.
So I have a win that's going to tie into that, and we'll turn this into a 3-way instead of a 2-way. We just found a resource that is an equity fund that can actually fund those transactions as a non-recourse. I'm going to say that again, non-recourse. The property just needs to be in an LLC, no financials, 3.75% interest only, 10 years. And they're closing them in 21 days. So it's a new product that we're rolling out. We're going to brand it very soon. So you'll be able to actually list that attached with the funding already ready to go.
I love it.
Wow.
I love it.
Wow.
Sabrina,
Sounds amazing.
so quiet.
I actually had a win, like the listing that Chuck was talking about before that I worked on. I was happy that I was able to say that I could do better than the last person that did that, and I succeeded, and I was happy about that. That you guys are happy with that listing.
Yeah, for sure. You killed it. It was night and day as far as what the previous person did.
Thank
Shane,
you.
you've got a huge opportunity in front of you right now because of the fact that we as realtors can't do showings the way that we used to. We are all looking to photography and video. And if you do a bang out job, you've got unbelievable opportunity in front of you because that's how we're showing property right now until, you know, we actually get to you're pre-qualified, you have a letter, let's actually go look at it. Everything is being done, you know, in your area, which is that video and photos.
Okay, yeah. And like I said, I put my information down in the comments in the group chat thing. But
Cool.
yeah, there we go.
Thank you, Shane. All right, so we need to wrap it up. I want to thank you guys so much for being a part of this today. You guys continue to kick ass together. Like I said in the beginning, you guys are a force to be reckoned with, and I can't wait to see what you guys are going to do to this market. I think you're gonna make, you know, put a dent in it.
We're
So
excited.
thank you
about
for
it.
putting
Thanks,
this
man.
on as well. I really
Thank you.
enjoy your show, and you guys do a great job. You and Lior do a great job.
Thank you
Awesome.
guys for having us.
Thank you guys for taking the time. Thank you everybody else for joining. We'll be here same place, same time next week. And we look forward to keep growing this community.
All right, guys, take care. Thank you.
Bye,
Thank
guys.
you.
Everyone.
Bye.